this is the real impact of the harassment that I have to deal with. After CTV Your Morning announced that I would be joining them every Friday of the campaign to do a fact check, a bunch of bad faith right-wingers who hate me for no other reason than I have reported accurately on the things that people they agree with politically have said and done. They just swarmed, including someone who up until a week before the election was Pierre Poilievre's main spokesperson and is still on Pierre Poilievre's team. And yesterday, CTV called me and informed me that I've lost this career opportunity. Because I was worried that they were going to be spineless, I recorded the phone call.
Pause it right there, people. You know how I feel about people who record conversations and then disclose them. We're going to come back to this video in a second because it's truly, truly astonishing. And there is a part of me that sincerely feels bad for Rachel Gilmore. Not because she got her gig, which from what I understand was actually a paid gig at CTV News for fact checking. Apparently CTV News was offering Rachel Gilmore their, quote, expert rate for her Friday fact check Friday, whatever it was. I realize I've been giving my appearances away. It's never even dawned on me to ask for payment to appear on an outlet, a podcast. Holy crap, have I left money on the table, people? Rachel Gilmore, for those of you who don't know, is the Canadian Taylor Lorenz. I'm not sure who is more of bad faith between Rachel Gilmore and Taylor Lorenz. I dare say I'm going to give Rachel Gilmore a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, only to say Taylor Lorenz, I think, is of more egregious bad faith than Rachel Gilmore. And when I say that I feel bad for Rachel Gilmore, on the one hand, I feel bad she lost what would have been a paying gig, and I don't mean this in a condescending way, everybody needs money. And I don't agree with cutting off someone's livelihoods because you disagree with what they said. And that's not what's happening here, period. I also feel bad for Rachel Gilmore because maybe she didn't have a father or parental figure to tell her how you deal with people. To tell her, if you record a conversation, that's like in poker, that's like your one time. You only get to say one time. And if you get your one time, you don't get to say one time again later on. In order for you to feel the need to disclose a secretly recorded conversation, she's lucky she's in one-party consent Canada. Can't do that stuff in Florida, by the way. You might want to also ask yourselves that question as to where you are recording this conversation, but it's Canada. If you're going to secretly record a conversation with a prospective employer, and not just an individual prospective employer, every prospective employer for the rest of Rachel Gilmore's professional career is going to know that she is the type of person who records a conversation and then publishes it in the absence of any dire necessity to do so. So no one gave her this advice. Okay, you're going to record a conversation. You keep that in your back pocket. You keep that in your back pocket for the time when someone says you're lying. And then you need to disclose that recording in order to prove that the person calling you a liar is in fact the liar. That's your one time to prove that the person calling you a liar is in fact the liar. That's your one time. And it doesn't even have to be one time. It only has to be when you need that recording to prove that someone is lying about you. Set that aside. Rachel Gilmore was given this Fact Check Friday on CTV News. And when I say that that's ironic, and when I said in response to this, I don't think there's a conservative in Canada who wanted Rachel Gilmore canceled from Fact Check Friday on CTV News, because there's nothing more emblematic of Canadian media than Rachel Gilmore being the fact checker on CTV News. For those of you who don't remember, the one of many examples of reckless, stupid, malicious journalism, James Topp, a man who is not a white nationalist, not an extremist, not anything negative as far as I know of James Topp, and I think I know James Topp. I've interviewed him when he was walking across the country to arrive on Ottawa to protest the COVID mandates because he was, I believe, dismissed with dishonorably from the military. I might be mixing up the details, and don't hold me to the details. He was protesting the mandates, and he walked across the country to Ottawa to lay his hand. Sorry, I'm going to take this out of here because I forgot that I have this in the backdrop. To lay his hand on the cenotaph, the war memorial. This is James Topp. This is when he arrived in Ottawa. This is an authentic print by Yves Parisien, amazing photographer in Canada. So James Topp is not a bad man, period, full stop. For someone to come out and suggest that he's a white nationalist, extremist, whatever, which is what Rachel Gilmore did, you could forgive if there were an apology. James Topp serves global news with notice over libel over white supremacy claims. Canadians' armed forces James Topp has retained a lawyer and has served a Global News as well as its parent company, Corus Entertainment, a notice of libel for falsely painting him as a white supremacist. He made headlines when he protested the COVID mandates, walked across the country. Okay. The defamatory article, inclusive of the URL tag, referred to Mr. Topp as a white supremacist, among other things. I skipped an important paragraph, not by accident. The notice filed by David Elmaleh names journalist Rachel Gilmore and her employers it references an August 18 article titled "Good PR: Why Anti-Hate Experts Are Urging Politicians to Step Up Vetting Practices," which covers a meeting between Topp and conservative leader Pierre Poilievre. And in the defamatory URL, it referred to James Topp as a white supremacist. This is the same Rachel Gilmore who conveyed to the public that I was seriously suggesting that Mark Carney, in his broken, horrible, globalist French language, was actually engaging in satanic chants at a pit stop on the election. Apparently, because her journalistic skills are so amazing, she didn't actually go to my timeline to see that the tweet that came right before that, the one that immediately preceded the joke about satanic mantra because his French is so bad, was a tweet in which I said, "What effing language is this guy speaking? This is the biggest insult to French since Howard Stern came to Canada." She gets a gig to be fact checker on fake news CTV News. And I'm like, this is beautiful. This represents Canada these days, at least mainstream media in Canada. And then she puts out a video saying she got her gig canceled. Why? Let's get back to the video.
And in that phone call, CTV made it extremely clear that this was being canceled because of the online backlash, not because of my skill set, not because of anything that I have said or done, but because of the way that these bad faith trolls were talking about me online. Bad faith trolls and a member of Pierre Poilievre's team.
Pause it. I also feel bad for Rachel because I've known a few people who, for whatever the reason, could never hold down a job. And they were always given an excuse that led them to believe it wasn't their fault. Downsizing, conflict, the position we no longer need. They could never piece together they were the problem because they were never given the excuse, sorry, it's you. It's not me, it's you. Now, maybe CTV News is the coward that they appear to be, and they don't want to say, well, yeah, we made a bad decision. We've now checked your credentials, and what the hell were we thinking? So they want to say, we're blaming the big bad Republican boogeymen who are online creating a backlash. Do you know what a backlash is on the internet? It's called eyeballs. It's called traffic. CTV News was probably going to get more eyeballs and more traffic than they were ever going to get because they brought on a Rachel Gilmore. It's like Howard Stern. They would probably have gotten binge watchers who were watching Fact Check Friday strictly for hate binge watching.
Before I play you any of this audio, I want you to understand that this is why these guys do this. This is why I get harassed so badly, because they know that it'll work. If you see someone reporting on far right, on threats to democracy, on the rights of trans people, and you bully everyone who gives them a career opportunity anytime they achieve anything, and then those career opportunities get taken away, you're going to realize that it works. And now, because CTV just caved to this pressure for no other reason than the backlash that these guys intentionally inflicted on me, they're going to know that they can do it again. This is a direct attack on journalism, on the freedom of the press, and frankly, it really, really is crushing for me. Here's the phone call.
That much I appreciate. It definitely has to be crushing. But you appreciate at no point in this has Rachel Gilmore yet assumed the potential responsibility of her own, not poor journalism, propagandist hackery, if I may call it that. We don't need to play the whole interview, the whole
You can
recording.
Decide for yourself.
This is Rachel Gilmore. Is this
nothing
Jennifer?
better than recording.
It is. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you doing?
We'll just do something.
I'm doing okay. Thanks for calling me back.
I'm going to skip ahead.
Really shocking and disappointing.
Thanks for saying that.
This time.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I knew that you had that troll base, and I knew that we would get some sort of reaction. But I really did not realize the extent of the volume of that pushback that we've had.
Pushback.
Yeah.
Bandwidth.
Well, it's a whole model at this point. Like, they've developed a playbook to try to deprive people like me of opportunities, and they're very good at it. So.
They are. And like the tricky thing for me is like
Listen to this.
It just ends up being a distraction of what we are trying to do. My goal as the EP for the show is I just want to do election coverage.
Yeah,
and
100%.
It's a critical election for Canadians. We've got Trump, we've got tariffs, we've got crazy amounts of information coming in, and we just want to be able to get back to people. But the who we're talking to is kind of drowning out what we're talking about right now.
The who that we're talking to is kind of drowning out the what we are talking about now. Do you understand what CTV News is telling Rachel right now? We don't want these right-wing eyeballs on our channel either. At one point, we can stop it. At one point in there, she says, we don't have the bandwidth. The bandwidth. I'm sorry. If you weren't relying on government subsidies, you propagandist hacks of CTV News, if you had to actually work for those eyeballs, you would want Rachel Gilmore bringing over whatever hate that you would be getting from the additional eyeballs of presumably conservatives. It's a pivotal election. It's a critical election. You got the Trump tariffs, whatever else. We got to make sure that we keep the liberals in charge is effectively what CTV News is saying. And it's really stunning, actually, in that, put this up. This is David Maskrop. He's an amazing man. Everything you go read everything he says. It's just out in left field of nonsense. For all the complaining the right does against cancel culture, this is an actual example of those same people harassing someone out of work. That's the double standard they're setting because they don't actually care about free speech. I'm sorry. If someone is a hack of a journalist, are we not entitled to express discontent? Oh no, so we don't have the free speech because it might sensitize CTV News to the fact that they hired a propagandist hack? It's not cancel culture. It's quality culture. And I don't think that she should have lost the gig. I think that CTV News are either stupid, cowards, or a perfect combination of both. They either didn't do their due diligence before they offered her this position, or they did and said it's a good position, but we're getting a little blowback now. What's that? Oh yeah, what's that? It resulted in you getting your former employer sued? Oh, maybe we don't want you on board. Maybe we should have done that little thing called DD before we offered you the position. You offered her the position, you should have stuck by your guns and kept her on. Oh, but they are cowards, propagandists. They all work together. No honor among scoundrels either. Well, that's what I love about all of them. Rachel Gilmore complaining about misogyny when the person who let her go is clearly a woman. So apparently the misogyny is not that bad at CTV News, but when it happens to her, then it's misogyny. It has nothing to do with quality. Absolute no respect for consequences, no self-assessment, insight in order to determine maybe I'm the problem. Maybe this keeps happening to me at every place where I go to work. Maybe it's me. Thus ends intro rant, people. Ah ouais donc, qu'est-ce qui se passe ici? Donne-moi une Pop-Tarts. Donne-moi une Pop-Tarts ici. Okay, so we got Rachel Gilmore. News agencies have codes of ethics, standards of practice that we have to adhere to. We went to school for this or mentored under working reporters. If I regularly violated journalistic ethics by, say, publishing inaccurate information, I'd be fired. All right, that's funny. You dox women who disagree with you, amplify terrorist rhetoric, peddle hoaxes for clout, and exhibit a psychopathic apathy toward the murder of opponents of your self-imposed class struggle. Any containment of your corrosive bile is cause for celebration. Get fucked. What does she say? She says, you watch this vulnerable moment and revel in it truly shows me what a sad, small person you are. But honestly, I pity you, Kian, because I only have to experience your pathetic, angry world when I interact. You have to live it every day. And Kian said, I love going down the rabbit hole of these. Pathetic, sniveling rat at Rachel Gilmore pushes out fake tears to her desperate neckbeard gooners, finally grasping that her toxic blend of bile and hate has torched any hope of a career, leaving her unemployable, unwanted, and irrelevant. Is there audio on this? Okay,
it's just
I didn't see this yet.
I really just want to help people with my work.
This is making me feel very sad.
That's why I do what I do. So it's just sorry, this is embarrassing. I didn't expect to cry.
I have to see what we have to live through the next 30 seconds together.
I think that one of the things that always makes me sad, almost more than the outwardly shitty people in the world, is the people who facilitate shitty things happening. So they're acting like this was outside their control or something in a way.
All right, we're done.